HNA has been in trouble for some time. They narrowly avoided default last year.
What impact could this have on HNA's restructuring plans now?
When he was at the height of his power, a little over 10 years ago, Chen Feng looked like he was ready to rule the world. In 1993, Chen and his late business partner, Wang Jian, who also owned HNA Group Co, founded Hainan Airlines, and since then, it has grown into a massive conglomerate and has become a symbol for a group of corporations that have acquired trophy assets in the United States and Europe. Their wave of mergers and acquisitions marked China's entry into the global corporate scene. The world-traveling tycoons were then sought out by Wall Street and interacted with influential leaders, including China's President Xi Jinping and Britain's former Prime Minister David Cameron. So what went wrong? How did this huge company collapse? Who was to blame? Stay with us till the end. Everything was going fine until, suddenly, everything came crashing down beneath one of the world's greatest piles of corporate debt. HNA, which had been trying to liquidate its holdings in anticipation of mounting liabilities, collapsed after the epidemic. The group's aviation and tourist industries were immobilized by the travel ban in February 2020, and everything was lost. Chen, who was 68 at the time, had reached the end of the line after already being sidelined as authorities stepped in. Beijing's broad corporate crackdown had apparently caught up with HNA as the business announced that its chairman and CEO, Tan Shangdong, had been imprisoned for unknown offenses. This comes as the China Evergrande Group, another hugely indebted giant, confronts a financial reckoning that has sent shockwaves across global markets and prompted speculation about whether or not Beijing would intervene. Since Mao Zedong's death, China has seen decades of liberalization, which has generated a plethora of millionaires and corporate empires. Although the state has employed corporations and attractive policies to increase the country's grip in key sectors, the Communist Party is worried about the influence of business and the danger it poses to the economy. That concern is showing up in its efforts to maintain control in companies like Tati, Alibaba, and others. HNA, on the other hand, caught the attention of the government for a different reason than the IT companies whose success and ownership of big data have made them a target. Under the leadership of Chen and Wang, the business took advantage of the easy credit that existed in China in the 1990s to finance a number of international acquisitions. Deals totaling more than $40 billion included large holdings in Deutsche Bank AG and Hilton Worldwide Holdings Incorporated, as well as luxury assets like its golf courses, iconic hotels on 6 continents, and the 648-foot skyscraper 245 Park Avenue in Manhattan. Beijing began cracking down on the large acquirers once it realized the dangers of capital flight and debt. In 2018, the government took control of the skyrocketing Anbang Insurance Group, which included the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York. Slowly but surely, HNA started to fall apart after that, selling off assets in anticipation of having to make debt payments. Creditors are still demanding at least $63 billion from the organization. Before Chen's detention, Victor Xie, an associate professor at the University of California, San Diego, who specializes in Chinese financial policies and elite politics, said in an interview that Chen shared the same strategy of many business people with political connections. They use their connections to borrow as much money as possible from state-owned financial institutions. The way these multinational companies use leverage to rapidly overpay for overseas assets was unsustainable, which resulted in catastrophic deleveraging. Chen and Wang's ambitions were built on a bedrock of debt. They had the same goal of making HNA a Fortune 500 powerhouse and were both committed Buddhists. The company jumped from 183 to 117th in 2017 thanks to credit fuel development, but its destiny was set within months as debt increased to over $93 billion in 2018. Chen grew up in Beijing after being born in Shaanxi, China's coal mining heartland, and received his degree in air transport management from the Lufthansa College of Aviation in Germany. Before going into private industry, he worked for China's Civil Aviation Administration and National Air Regulations Bureau. While acting as the advisor to the governor of Hainan at the time, he helped form a corporation that subsequently became HNA's flagship, Hainan Airlines Holding Co., for a provincial airline with just 10 million yuan or $1.5 million in government support. HNA's early success in attracting George Soros as an investor was a major triumph. Chen soon rose to prominence in China's growing business world by presenting himself in a positive light in interviews. On Hainan Air flights, he posed for photos while serving beverages and snacks to passengers. William Kirby, a professor at Harvard Business School who has known Chen for years, called Chen an incredibly effective speaker and an effective salesman for HNA. In 2007, HNA purchased its first international asset, the SA Sode Hotel in Belgium, signaling its intent to expand outside its traditional aviation business and the borders of China. More deals followed after this, including a major stake purchase in Deutsche Bank AG at the time. HNA owned the majority of the shareholding via derivative contracts called put options, using a collar tactic common among leveraged-up Chinese acquirers at the time. The mounting debt didn't bother Chen even a bit. Famously, in an interview with China Central Television in 2004, he compared leverage to lice. You stop feeling itchy when you have a lot of them. You can finally get some shut-eye after borrowing so much money. The middle of 2017 saw the first signs of the conglomerate's financial difficulties. To repay their massive amounts of debt, HNA started liquidating their assets, a safety net promised by China's senior officials to assist HNA secure financing. According to sources involved with the dialogue in 2018, never materialized. According to the managing partner of a Hong Kong-based credit research business, HNA was expanding faster than the expertise of the management. To maintain HNA's financial stability, the government exploited the airline to increase China's global influence. The death of Wang, who was on holiday in southern France in July 2018, further added to the chaos. He was 57 at the time. According to the Banyu's police, the HNA co-chairman fell from a height of 15 meters while posing for a picture. The French newspaper Libération stated months later that it was a suicide. HNA was already under investigation for its ownership and possible financial ties to Communist Party officials before Wang's death added another layer of mystery. Some bond investors were certain that Beijing would bail out HNA if it ran into financial difficulties because of the company's apparent political ties. Investors who thought otherwise would soon learn their mistake, since the government took over HNA and began reorganizing it. Claims of financial fraud under the previous leadership have emerged. 3 HNA subsidiaries claimed in that owners and affiliates had embezzled at least 63 billion yuan or $9.7 billion, and that they had omitted disclosure of around 46 billion yuan in loan guarantees. The Chinese magazine Caixin stated, the day after Chen's detainment was made public, that the company had failed to completely disclose to authorities dozens of related party transactions, some of which were connected to HNA's foreign acquisitions. Chen, Wang, and numerous top employees were discovered to possess firms that were either managed or invested in by family members who did business with HNA. According to Caixin's review of company filings and interviews with various former and present executives, Caixin cited an unnamed former HNA official as suggesting that due to the company's complicated network of related party trading, HNA may have overpaid by as much as 50% for aviation materials and 10% for aircraft compared to its rivals. The government now has full control over HNA with the arrest of Chen. His son, Chen Feng, will continue to serve on the board, but the older Chen's detention will cut him off from HNA. Wu Xiaohui, the former chairman of Anbang, was also sentenced to 18 years in jail in 2018 for fraud and embezzlement. Experts also warned that more highly indebted corporations might follow HNA's path, so the coming years might have a lot of surprises for us. That's all for today, guys. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon for any new updates. See you in the next one.